Any questions regarding yesterday's topic? Okay. Then can any one of you summarize yesterday's topic? Whoever is willing to do can start.
Dear Raja, I can summarize.
Okay, go for it.
So yesterday you had explained Balbodh, which is the second Granth in Shorash Granth. So Balbodh is was composed by Sri Mahaprabhuji for the devotee Narayan Das Kayas, and we understood how each of the Granths in Balbodh was dedicated to some devotee for making them understand or clear their doubts regarding the Pushti Marg. So we saw how Narayan Das Kayas had doubts about the true meaning or the purpose of Pushti Bhakti Marg, despite staying with Sri Mahaprabhuji for a long period of time throughout his Bharat Parikrama. So Sri Mahaprabhuji eliminated his doubts by preaching Balbodh. So Balbodh does not, even though Balbodh does not include the principles of the Pushti Marg, it incorporates all the scriptural ordinances prescribed in the Vedic text. So the Vedic scriptures have explained four purusharths, or the human goals that a devotee, that an individual must have while living his or her life. So the purusharths means the attempts made by an individual or purush to achieve a certain goal, and that may include moksha, liberation. So the four purusharths are dharma, earth, kam, and moksha. So the dharma means to follow the duties that have been prescribed in the scriptures, the Vedic scriptures, in the forms of do's and don'ts. Earth is the method that one uses to achieve wealth or worldly possessions. Kam are the actions carried out by a person to fulfill the demands of the sensory organs. And moksha is salvation or mukti from the cycle of birth and death while leaving the gross and internal body. So the first three purusharths, dharma, earth, kam, have been explained in the scriptures, including Manusmriti, Gruhya Sutra, and Kam Sutra, etc. These texts include how to achieve the dharma, earth, kam, and moksha. Dharma, earth, kam. But the moksha purusharth has been showcased in Balbodh while including its different types, methods, and categories. So as the title suggests, Balbodh is for the children, or for the individuals who are children by understanding. So Sri Vallabh has dedicated this Granth to those who have a lack of knowledge or awareness regarding the Pushti Bhakti Marg. So Balbodh is mainly addressed to the individuals who are needing to understand their duties, being the follower of the Pushti Bhakti Sampradaya. So Sri Mahaprabhuji has briefly explained the four purusharths in Balbodh, but along with this, he has also negated them as the four life goals of a devotee, because he believes that a true Pushti Vaishnav would consider the selfless Nishkam Bhakti for Shri Krishna to be the highest goal of a Pushti devotee. So performing the selfless devotion of Shri Krishna is the fifth purusharth that has been proposed by Sri Vallabh. So the main confusion in the mind of Narayan Das Kayas had arisen because of not understanding the true purpose of one's life. So the scriptural ordinances had prioritized dharma, earth, kam, and moksha as the primary goals. But Sri Mahaprabhuji, on the other hand, believed Krishna's service to be the most important. So this was the confusion between the differentiating line between the fifth purusharth that Sri Mahaprabhuji had proposed and the other four purusharths explained in the Vedic doctrines. So Sri Vallabhacharya had explained to his devotees not to dedicate their entire lives towards the four purusharths, since they are the results sparked by one's worldly or otherworldly desires, which includes moksha. So attaining Bhagwan himself is more superior than attaining liberation or salvation. So the ultimate purpose of Balbodh is to provide the guidelines to a devotee about what one would be facing while following the path of Pushti. So those who have interest in attaining dharma, earth, kama, and moksha are considered not to be qualified to be initiated into the Pushti marg. But if an individual realizes that attaining Shri Krishna is his only desire, then the individual will be accepted into the path to further understand the principles of the Pushti Sampradaya.
Fine. So there are no more questions, right? If anyone has to ask anything, then unmute yourself and ask if there is something. Okay. Who has the turn to read? Who read yesterday? Was it Sanvi?
Srinath not run.
Srinath, will you go for the next one?
Okay, I can go.
Your voice is quite low. Keep the microphone near.
I can go.
Okay.
Natva haryam sadanandam sarva siddhansa graham Balprabodh nartaya vadami suvinishyatam. Translation: bowing down to Sri Krishna, the infinite entity who always removes the sorrows and sins of his devotees, addressing new deities who are curious to attain knowledge regarding Dharma Shastras and methods for attaining Purusharthas as prescribed. Mahaprabhuji is preaching all the principles as prescribed in Vedic scriptures for their enlightenment. Explanation. First part of the verse includes Mangalacharan through Sri Vallabhacharya remembers Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Later part of the verse denotes the subject matter of this treaty. Here Sri Vallabhacharya summarizes all the principles as explained in the Vedic scriptures, assuming that a person who would be approaching Pushti Sampradaya is a Vedic Hindu first of all, and therefore would be having some sort of prejudice regarding the means of attaining Purusha Shastras and the fruits accordingly. Therefore, being a part of devotional path, Sri Mahaprabhuji wants the Pushti being to be clear regarding all these means and the ultimate purpose of Pushti devotion as well. So this treatise purposefully provides exceptionally beautiful description regarding the motive of human life as explained in the scriptures, and additionally clears a picture for the sake of devotional life a being would be choosing ahead of this.
Can you explain?
Yeah. This paragraph describes the first part of the verse explains Mangalacharan, which Sri Vallabhacharya remembers Krishna. The later part of the verse, it assumes that the person who is approaching this is a Vedic Hindu and approaching the Pushti Sampradaya. And this treatise purposefully provides exceptionally beautiful description of human life as explained in the scriptures, and additionally clears a picture for the sake of devotional life a being would be choosing ahead of this. So it's describing what someone who's a Hindu and a Vedic Sampradaya approaching the Pushti Sampradaya, what they would be curious to attain.
Fine. So here Sri Mahaprabhuji starts the Balbodh Granth. He starts the treatise, and he explains that in the first part Sri Mahaprabhuji is doing the Mangalacharan, because that's our tradition for starting anything new. So whenever we start something new, we just bow down to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. We pay our respect to him, and then we start any new work. So Shri Mahaprabhuji is bowing down to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Here Shri Mahaprabhuji says that Bhagavan is having the two qualities. The first quality is that he is the infinite entity. He is Sadanand, the Anand, the one who is having the Anand attribute. And secondly, he is the one who would remove all the sorrows and sins of his devotees, whoever would be going in the refuge of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Now, addressing new devotees, sorry, please correct that part. It is devotees. Addressing new devotees in the translation in the second line. I'll make the change and share this file again. Yeah. So, addressing the new devotees who are entering Pushti Sampradaya, they would be curious regarding the ordinances which are available in the Dharma Shastras and the methods for attaining Purusharthas as described in Vedic religion. Because whoever, Mahaprabhuji is assuming that whoever would be there to initiate into Pushti Sampradaya, he would be a Hindu Vedic first of all. Because that was the time when India had all the Hindu followings, though Mughals had arrived in India, but their effect was very less. So there was no other religion prevailing in India, and each and every person was very much dedicated towards religion. So the mindset of Sri Mahaprabhuji regarding the person who is trying to get initiated into Pushti Sampradaya is like that he would be aware, he would have the basic understanding of Hindu religion, and therefore he may have some questions regarding the preachings which are available in the Hindu Dharma Shastras, and on the other side what Sri Mahaprabhuji is preaching. So that person needs to understand the difference between both the methods, and therefore ultimately he must be aware that what he is going to gain after following the path for attaining the four Purusharthas, and on the other side what he would be attaining after following the devotional path. So whoever is trying to get initiated into Pushti Sampradaya, he need to be aware that what he would be getting at the end after following Pushti Sampradaya. So for example, if a person is having a belief that salvation is the superior most result and each and every being must attain salvation. Now for example, if someone is entering Pushti Sampradaya with this mindset, what would he get? Suddenly he would be startled to know that Mahaprabhuji is keeping devotion above salvation. So for Mahaprabhuji, salvation is also not the best fruit, because devotion is much more than attaining salvation. So if a new person is coming into Pushti Sampradaya with the mindset that he would attain salvation at the end because all the other methods are only for the sake of attaining salvation, he would be just shocked after learning this all of a sudden. So first of all, before a being get initiated into Sampradaya, Mahaprabhuji wants to clear all these things, because no one must remain in any sort of confusion. Because if, for example, if I start following Pushti Sampradaya and all of a sudden after 1, 2, 3, 4 years, if someone would tell me that no, you are not supposed to attain salvation here, devotion would be the ultimate fruit, then I would be just moved with what I have heard and what I would be attaining, and maybe if I am expecting salvation, then I would have wasted 3, 4 years of my life doing something else which I don't want. So these are the problems which may occur with an initiated devotee. Therefore, Sri Mahaprabhuji wants to be clear in front of all the devotees who are entering into Pushti Sampradaya, so that there doesn't remain any scope of confusion. For example, nowadays many people are getting initiated into Pushti Sampradaya, but they are not aware about the result they would be attaining at the end, and therefore without understanding they are getting initiated into Pushti Sampradaya. And because of that, the being are getting what they don't want here, or they are getting something which is not expected. So Mahaprabhuji wants to make these things clear. For example, people who are following Pushti Sampradaya nowadays, they are trying to attain money, they are trying to accumulate money using the devotional path, and because of that, they are not able to concentrate upon devotion. They are trying to use devotion as a method for accumulating money. They are not having selfless devotion in their heart. Therefore, they are using seva as a means for fulfilling their worldly and outer worldly desires. They are reading Bhagavat so that their ancestors would attain salvation. They are reading Bhagavat so that they don't face any problem in their family. So all these intentions which must not be involved in the devotional path, even those intentions are involved with the people who are following the devotional path, and they are not even aware that these things must not be done. Or they are the people who are having such worldly desires in their heart, still they are not even having the proper understanding that this is not what a devotee must do, and as a result they are just involved in all the wrong activities which they must not do. So Sri Mahaprabhuji is very keen in clearing out these things in front of the devotees, so that these questions don't arise, and a person who is trying to enter Pushti Sampradaya remains very much clear regarding the purpose of their life, and remain clear that these are not the fruits a person must expect after entering into Pushti Sampradaya, but the devotion is the only fruit a being would be attaining at the end. This is what Mahaprabhuji wants to clear. Mahaprabhuji is not describing the principles of Pushti Sampradaya here, but he is just describing the principles as explained in Vedic Dharma Shastras, because each and every person who would be entering Pushti Sampradaya would be a Hindu Vedic, and he would have some basic understanding. He may have some sort of confusions regarding the principles of Pushti Sampradaya and how to differentiate it from the principles of Vedic Hindu Sampradaya. Any question?
Yeah, I just had a quick question.
Yes.
So where does Sri Mahaprabhuji clarify that like what we just discussed, that saying that devotion, the fundamental principles that he believes in, you explained that devotion is higher than salvation. So does Sri Mahaprabhuji address that in the Balbodh, or does he address it on another scripture?
No, in Balbodh only.
So will it be later on in the Granth, or?
Yes. We are learning it at the end. Sri Mahaprabhuji is describing this. He is just clearly telling the devotees that if you are interested in attaining dharma, arth, kam and moksha, then you can choose these respective paths, and if you are interested in devotion, which is above all these four, then you are welcome to get initiated into Pushti Sampradaya.
Okay. Ji Raja.
Yeah.
I have a question, Raja.
Yes.
So in the beginning you said that Mangalacharan we say when we're starting anything new, and you also said that in Mangalacharan Mahaprabhuji is saying two things. One, that Bhagwan is Sadanand,
And I didn't catch the second thing. I didn't understand that.
Second thing is that Bhagavan is Hari. The term Hari means the one who would remove all the sorrows and sins and problems of his devotees.
Okay. Thank you, Raja.
Yeah.
Raja, I also have a question.
Yes.
I was wondering what Purusharth means.
Anyone else would like to respond to this question? Any of the participants?
Yes, I can respond.
Yes.
So Purusharth is that the Vedic scriptures have been divided, and the Purusharth is the attempt made by a person in order to attain a particular fruit. And so Purush means human being, and then earth is what we want to attain and gain. And so here, when we're trying to do something, we want to attain something as a result. There will be a result after we perform any type of action. And so here whatever activities we perform have been divided into dharma, earth, kama, and moksha. And so these are the four purusharths of the four types. And so here dharma is like our duty, earth is the objects and its means to accumulate wealth and possession. Kam is like any sensory organs and the like to demands to fulfill the sensory organs, and then moksha is salvation. And so here the four purusharths just explain the worldly like life and how people are supposed to live. And so the four purusharths that the Vedas explain is to how to attain each of these things. But Sri Mahaprabhuji explains that instead of trying to attain dharma, earth, kama, and moksha, we should look further to attain devotion, or that's what we should strive to do. And so that is the difference between following just the Vedic scriptures and then following Pushti Marg in more detail.
Shyam, okay, thank you.
Are you able to understand?
Ji Raja.
Fine. So basically, these four purusharths are divided into these four purusharths include each and every activity we perform throughout our day and throughout our life. Since the day we are born till the date we die, whatever we do, whatever sort of activity we get involved into, can be divided into these four sections. Something which would be doing would be a part of our duty, which would be known as dharma, duty towards our family, duty towards our society, or duty towards our nation, or anything around that. So that would be known as dharma. The second one is artha. So we would be involved in any such activity for accumulating money, or for possessing some property, or for possessing some objects. Then that activity would be known as artha. Third one is kam. We would be learning the definitions ahead. So the kam would mean that we are doing something for fulfilling our desires, for fulfilling the demands of our sensory organs, and the fourth one would be for salvation. So whatever activity we perform throughout our day, throughout our life, that can be divided into these four sections. And therefore, the Vedic scriptures have explained that these are the four purusharths. A human would be involved in these four activities for attaining some sort of result. And therefore, these are the efforts which are put on by the human being for attaining some sort of fruit. Is that clear? Okay.
Ji Raja.
Okay. Anyone else? Any question?
I have a question. It is a little bit off topic, but also something we discussed about. So we said that when you're into Pushti Sampradaya, your only goal is to attain Bhagwan himself, or like do his seva. But we have festivals like Navratri, when we're actually praying and doing kind of like seva to to other god, the Mata. So is that called? Is that allowed?
No, it isn't allowed at all. For a Pushti being, Krishna is everything. There is no one above Krishna, and there is nothing about the devotion of Krishna. There is nothing above the devotion of Krishna, and therefore in any of the occasion, occasionally that's okay. It means during the vidhi of marriage, or during the vidhi of Yajnapaveet or Vastu Pujan and etc. During these occasions, we do perform the puja of other god and goddesses as a part of the ritual, not on independent basis, and that is okay, because like we invite our guests at our place, same way we are inviting those deities, because those are the deities who are appointed by Bhagavan himself for fulfilling those acts, and therefore during those specific rituals, as a part of the ritual, we fulfill the worship of these deities. But on any other occasion, nowhere and never a Pushti devotee is supposed to worship anyone. Not even Ganesha, not even Durga, not even Mahadev, and no one else. Just no one else. And if anyone is doing so, then that is a sin. Being a Pushti devotee, you are involving in a sinful activity.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyone else? Fine. Then let us conclude here. We'll be continuing in the next part.
Then